Wait, now fruit is the enemy? I grew up being told to eat more fruit to stay healthy. Now it's weakening my legs? If you're over 60 and trying to stay active, this might surprise you. You walk, eat healthy, and do your best, but your legs still feel heavy, achy, and tired. Sound familiar? Here's the shocking part. Some fruits, even the ones promoted as healthy, might be working against your body, especially after 60. In this video, we'll break down 7 fruits that could secretly be harming circulation, increasing joint pain, and affecting senior leg strength. Stick around to the end. You'll learn which fruits to avoid, what to eat instead, and how to notice early signs your body is reacting. Is your fruit bowl helping you or hurting you? Comment below. Have you ever felt worse after eating something you thought was healthy? If yes, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 2. You might be surprised by what others share. Your story could help someone too. Now let's take a closer look at what might really be behind that leg pain, and why age might not be the only reason. For a long time, I blamed my legs on just getting older. I'd tell myself, well, I'm not 30 anymore, every time the stairs felt harder, or my knees ached after standing too long. But one day, a friend said something that stuck with me. Aging is natural, but pain isn't always part of the deal. And that made me look closer. See, as we get older, our circulation slows down, our muscles lose strength, and our joints become more sensitive. That's true. But there are also things we're eating that can speed up the damage, especially if we don't realize it. Foods that mess with your blood sugar. Hidden triggers that inflame your joints. Even healthy habits that quietly wear your legs down. Let me tell you about Tom, a 67-year-old retired teacher I met through a walking group. He was doing everything right, walking daily, staying active, eating fruit every morning. But his legs were sore, heavy, and swollen by afternoon. Turns out, the fruit juice and morning bananas were spiking his blood sugar and silently stressing his circulation. Once he made a few small changes, switching fruit types, adjusting portions, he said, "It's like my legs remembered how to move again." Your legs might be asking for help, not just because of your age, but because of what you're feeding them. You wouldn't expect a banana or a bowl of grapes to make your knees hurt, but sometimes that's exactly what happens. So why does something as healthy as fruit cause trouble as we age? Let's talk about the fruit illusion, and why healthy isn't always healthy after 60. We've been told all our lives, eat more fruit, it's good for you. And for the most part, that's true. But here's the catch. What was healthy at 30 may not work the same at 65. Our bodies change, our digestion slows, blood sugar becomes harder to manage, and some fruits, though natural and full of vitamins, can suddenly cause more harm than good. Let me tell you about June. She's 72, sharp as a tack, and swears by her morning fruit smoothie. Banana, orange juice, a handful of grapes. Doctor approved, she said. But she couldn't figure out why her knees started to ache more, or why her afternoon walks felt harder each week. One day her daughter suggested tracking her meals and symptoms. Sure enough, the days she drank her fruit smoothie were the days her legs felt swollen and stiff. Fruit is still good, but only if it's right for your age, your body, and your portions. Too much of even the good stuff can throw your system off balance. As the Mayo Clinic puts it, older adults may need to reduce sugar intake and focus on fruits with a lower glycemic impact. Mayo Clinic, Nutrition for Older Adults, 2022. Could your morning fruit be doing more harm than good? It's time we take a closer look, starting with one of the most surprising fruits on the list. Pineapple. Pineapple, friend or foe for your knees and joints? Pineapple has a great reputation. It's tropical, tasty, and full of bromelain, an enzyme known for its anti-inflammatory benefits. Sounds like a dream food for sore knees, right? But here's the surprising twist. In some older adults, pineapple might actually make joint pain worse, not better. Let me tell you about Carol. She's 69, loves gardening, and used to snack on fresh pineapple in the afternoon. It's good for inflammation, she believed. But she started noticing her knees felt stiff after sitting, and her ankles were puffier at the end of the day. Turns out she was eating nearly a cup of pineapple daily, not realizing how much natural sugar and acid that added up to. See, pineapple can spike blood sugar quickly, which affects circulation. And its acidity? For some people with arthritis or sensitive joints, it can act like fuel to the fire. Pineapple isn't bad, but it's not one size fits all. If you enjoy it, go for a few small slices and pair it with protein like almonds or cottage cheese. Most importantly, listen to your body. As the Journal of Food Biochemistry 20 explains, bromelain may reduce inflammation, but excessive intake can irritate tissues in sensitive individuals. Now, if pineapple is on the maybe list, what about bananas? They're full of potassium. But is that the whole story? Banana blues, why potassium isn't the whole story. Bananas have always been the safe fruit. Easy to peel, easy to digest, full of potassium, which helps prevent leg cramps, right? Well, not the whole story. Here's the twist. As we get older, the sugar and starch in bananas can work against our legs, even while the potassium helps. Let me share David's story. He's 71, walks every morning, and used to eat a banana before his walk, for energy, he said. But halfway through, his legs felt heavy. Sometimes he'd even get cramps, the very thing he was trying to avoid. We looked closer. The ripe bananas he ate were spiking his blood sugar fast. That sudden spike, followed by a crash, was affecting circulation and muscle balance. Bananas aren't bad, but how ripe they are, how much you eat, and what you pair them with matters more than people think. Try half a slightly green banana with a handful of almonds or peanut butter. It slows sugar absorption and keeps your energy steady. As Harvard Health notes in its Glycemic Index Guide 2021, less ripe bananas have a lower glycemic index and may cause fewer blood sugar fluctuations. So, bananas? Still on the menu, but with a few smart tweaks. Now, if even bananas can be tricky, what about grapes? Those tiny treats that feel harmless? Grapes and gout, a sweet shortcut to joint pain. Grapes seem so innocent, don't they? Tiny, juicy, easy to snack on, and they've got antioxidants, so they must be good for us, right? Well, here's the part many folks don't realize. Grapes are packed with fructose, and that sugar can quietly raise your uric acid levels, a key trigger for gout and joint pain. Let me tell you about Harold. He's 74, retired from the post office, and loves his grapes while watching TV. But for months, his right toe and ankle would swell and ache, especially at night. His doctor thought it might be early-stage gout. Harold was shocked. We traced it back to his evening snack, a big bowl of grapes. Turns out, fructose breaks down into compounds that increase uric acid, and that's exactly what was building up in his joints. Even healthy-looking fruits can be risky if we're eating too much, too often, or at the wrong time. If you love grapes, here's a tip. Stick to a small handful. 10 to 12 grapes, pair with a protein, and avoid them late at night. According to the Journal of Nutrition and Metabolism, 2014, high fructose fruits, like grapes, may contribute to uric acid buildup and inflammatory joint responses in sensitive individuals. Have you ever noticed joint pain after a sweet snack, even a healthy one? Comment yes if that's ever happened to you, or no if not. You never know who might relate to your story. Now, speaking of sweet and healthy, let's talk about one fruit that's practically made of water. Watermelon. Watermelon's summer trap. Why hydration can be deceptive. On a hot day, nothing feels more refreshing than a cold slice of watermelon. It's sweet, juicy, and over 90% water, so it must be good for hydration, right? Well, here's the surprising truth. Despite its water content, watermelon can spike blood sugar fast, and that spike can silently wear down your legs. Let me tell you about Gloria. She's 68, lives in Arizona, and keeps watermelon chilled in her fridge all summer. One afternoon, after a big slice, she went for her usual walk. But halfway through, her legs felt shaky and her knees stiffened up. It happened more than once. Turns out, watermelon has a high glycemic index, which means it pushes sugar into your bloodstream fast. For older adults, especially those with slower metabolism or insulin resistance, that's a problem. It leads to fatigue, poor circulation, and sometimes Swelling in the legs. Watermelon isn't the enemy, but portion control matters. Stick to a small slice and never eat it alone on an empty stomach. Pair it with some protein like Greek yogurt or a few nuts to soften the sugar spike. As the American Diabetes Association advises, even fruits with high water content can impact blood sugar significantly, if not balanced with other nutrients. Do you eat watermelon regularly in the summer? Drop a watermelon icon in the comments if it's your favorite, and tell us how your body reacts after eating it. Next up, let's talk about something you probably have every morning. Oranges. Orange acid. From vitamin C to joint irritation. For decades, oranges have been the go-to fruit for staying healthy. Vitamin C. Immune boost. A bright way to start the morning. But here's what many seniors never hear. The same citrus acid that makes oranges zingy can quietly irritate joints, especially aging ones. Let me tell you about Mike. He's 70, still working part-time, and never skips his morning orange or glass of juice. But lately he noticed something strange. About an hour after breakfast, his knees would tighten. And if he had juice on an empty stomach, even worse, he'd get heartburn too. We connected the dots. The citric acid and natural sugars in oranges were causing inflammation and digestive irritation, both of which can affect joints and energy. Oranges can still be part of a healthy routine, but timing and balance matter. Try eating a small orange with breakfast, not before it. Avoid drinking juice on an empty stomach and skip it if you notice joint pain or reflux. The National Institute on Aging notes, as we age, increased sensitivity to acidic foods is common, especially for those with joint inflammation or digestive issues. Next, we'll look at a fruit that sounds healthy, looks healthy, but might just be the sneakiest of all: green apples. Green apples. Tart, tasty, but trouble for sensitive joints. Green apples have that crisp, refreshing bite. They're lower in sugar than red apples, high in fiber, and often seen as the healthier choice. But here's the surprise. Here's the irony. That refreshing tartness, the very reason we choose green apples, comes from malic acid, a compound that, for people with sensitive joints or digestive issues, may quietly stir up inflammation and joint pain. Take Linda, for example. She's 66, loves staying active, and switched from sweet snacks to green apples to stay healthy. But within minutes of eating one on an empty stomach, she'd feel bloated. Worse, her knees felt stiff after lunch. We pieced it together. The malic acid in green apples was irritating her stomach lining and triggering inflammatory responses that spread to her joints. Green apples aren't bad, but if your joints or digestion are already sensitive, they may not be as safe as you think. Try eating smaller portions, always with food, not alone, and consider switching to a less acidic variety like a ripe pear or softer apple. According to the Journal of Inflammation Research 2021, certain fruit acids, including malic acid, may aggravate inflammation in individuals with gut-joint sensitivity overlap. And now we've come to the final fruit on our list, one that's tropical, beloved, and incredibly sweet: the mango. Mango madness, tropical delight, or leg weakener. There's something about mangoes that feels like a treat. Golden, juicy, and packed with vitamins, they're the fruit version of sunshine. But here's the catch. Mangoes are among the highest sugar fruits you can eat. And for older adults, that sweetness can take a silent toll on your legs. Let me tell you about Irene. She's 73, recently retired, and started blending mango into her morning smoothies, thinking it was a healthy upgrade. But not long after, she began feeling tired after walking, and her legs would swell slightly by the afternoon. When she tracked her meals and symptoms, the pattern became clear. The natural sugars in mangoes were spiking her blood sugar fast. That spike was affecting her circulation, leading to leg fatigue and inflammation. Mangoes aren't bad, but they're extremely sweet and should be treated more like a dessert than a daily snack. Try eating just a few small cubes and always pair them with protein or fiber to soften the sugar impact. According to the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, 2007, High-sugar fruits, when consumed fully, can contribute to systemic inflammation and fatigue, especially in insulin-sensitive individuals. And now, with all 9 fruits explored, it's time we bring everything together. Let's talk about the smart senior fruit strategy. How to enjoy fruit without sacrificing your strength. After hearing about 9 different fruits and how they can surprise you, maybe even work against your legs, you might be wondering, do I need to stop eating fruit altogether? Here's the twist. Fruit is still one of the best things you can eat, but only if you eat it in a way that matches your age, digestion, and activity level. Let me share what worked for Paul. He's 69, always loved fruit, and didn't want to give it up, but he noticed leg swelling after eating a fruit salad for lunch every day. Instead of quitting cold turkey, he made 3 small changes. 1. Swapped high-sugar fruits like mangoes and grapes for lower-impact ones like berries and kiwi. 2. Started eating fruit with meals, not on an empty stomach. 3. Always paired fruit with protein or healthy fat, like almonds or Greek yogurt. Within a few weeks, the swelling eased up. He kept enjoying fruit, just more wisely. It's not about cutting fruit. It's about changing how and when you eat it. If you're older or managing conditions like diabetes or acid reflux, it's often best to enjoy fruit with or shortly after a meal. This can help slow sugar absorption and reduce stomach irritation. If your digestion is strong and you're active, having fruit as a snack 1 to 2 hours after a meal may work just fine. According to the Cleveland Clinic's 2023 Healthy Aging Guide, portion size, timing, and pairings are key to keeping fruit a friend, not a foe, for seniors. If you're managing chronic conditions like diabetes, arthritis, or digestive issues, it's always smart to talk to your doctor or nutritionist before making big dietary changes, even with fruit. So don't fear the fruit bowl. Instead, build one that works for you, your body, your age, your joints. And remember, small changes can bring big relief. The fruit you thought was keeping you strong might have been silently holding you back. But now, you know better. You know how to enjoy fruit without hurting your legs, joints, or energy. You've made it this far. Now your legs will thank you. If you'd like me to cover a follow-up, maybe vegetables that might not be as senior-friendly as we think, type yes in the comments. If not, type no, and I'll know to leave it there. And if this helped you feel more in control of your health, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and here's to strong legs, clear choices, and smart aging.